What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason and Joe here, counting down our favorite albums of 2023. We're going all out this year. We're going to do a big top 25 special where we each reveal our favorite albums of the year. But before that, we are giving a ton of honorable mentions, each doing a full top 100. Joe already listed his 100 through 26 in a previous video. Go check that out if you missed it. And now I'm going to do the same thing. Just a quick rundown, briefly mention some good records, but not really going to give you any full review. But check these things out. I recommend them all. These are all 3.5 stars and up. Number 100. Joe probably didn't like this, but in my notes, I wrote that he should even be able to appreciate this. I have Gigi's Recovery by the Murder Capital, post-punk. And yeah, it's not really, it's like post-punk light, I feel like. You can just sort of look at it as a good rock and roll record out of Dublin. 99, Upside Down in Heaven by Crocodiles. Fun, fast, fuzzy, slacker rock. I think it's their best record since 2013's Crimes of Passion. 98, I've got Guts by Olivia Rodrigo. One of the best mainstream pop albums in recent memory. I love Olivia's personality and her embracing of rock sounds. Just a fun record. 97, Bunny by Beach Fossils, jangly dream pop from the Brooklyn band. 96, Keeping Alive by Doug Tuttle. Great little psych pop record. He released 2 records this year. This one's good. The other one is just experimental guitar noise and my least favorite album of the year. Number 95, I have Light, Dark, Light Again by Angie McMahon. Pretty strong sophomore album from the Aussie indie songwriter. Number 94, Scott McMicken and the ever-expanding indie folk solo project from the Dr. Dog member. Number 93, I have Quartet Plus 2 by Orbiting Human Circus, vocal jazz record, but sung by a member of the Elephant Six Collective and Music Tapes member Julian Coster. Number 92, I have V by Unknown Mortal Orchestra, kind of a cool, funky double album with all of the hallmarks of UMO. Number 91, I've got Thank God It's the Dream Machine by The Dream Machine, UK psych rock that recalls early 2000s classic rock revival. Number 90 was the last record I listened to. Number 341, it's Scratch and Sniff by The Whiffs. This is a Dylan CD recommendation, if you trust him at all. Just good power pop with a punk rock edge to it. Number 89, I have I Am Not There Anymore by The Clientele. British indie outfit, kind of a mixed bag record, but the back half I think is really strong. There's some really phenomenal tunes in the last part of this record. Number 88, I have A Little Touch of Schleicher in the Night by Katie von Schleicher. Album title of the year, solid collection of indie singer-songwriter tunes. Number 87, So Far So Good by Myrna. This is like if Sade was an indie band from San Francisco, just super smooth, really cool. Number 86, I have Brian Moon's Disco Punk by Danny Goffey. Kind of questionable release date here. I think it's 2023, as far as I can tell, but maybe not. But this is the drummer of Supergrass, and he's basically on this record answering the question, what if LCD Sound System was British? That's basically what that sounds like. Number 85, I've got The Rise and the Fall by the Rural Alberta Advantage. Been a fan of this band for a while. They're on Saddle Creek, big anthemic indie rock. Number 84, I've got In the Midnight Room by Super City, band from Baltimore, kind of modern alt rock spiced up with some art rock and prog elements and some really flashy guitar solos. Really fun live band as well. Saw them recently playing with our friend Nordista. Number 83, I've got Dead Meat by the Tubs. And I also wrote that the singer sounds like Richard Thompson, which you said in your video. And I think that is probably the note most people have. Number 82, I have As All Get Out by Matthew Logan Vasquez. Delta Spirit frontman. He returns with possibly his best solo project to date. Maybe even the best thing he's done since History from Below, Delta Spirit's 2010 record. Number 81, I have Maps, but not Billy Woods. It's by a band called Exxon Valdez, and they are a French pop group, really upbeat indie pop. Number 80, I have 3D Country by Geese, just off the wall mix of influences, including indie, punk, country, kind of jam bandy at times. The singer really reminds me of a somewhat obscure 90s band called Reef, if anyone gets that reference. Number 79, I have Strange Discipline by Nation of Language. Perfectly executed synth pop. You know, Depeche Mode made one of their best records ever this year, I think, but Nation of Language beat them at their own game with this one, I think. So, spoiler, no Depeche Mode in my top 100. Number 78, I've got Be Good, The Crazy Boys by Art Feynman, which is a Luke Temple side project. Luke Temple of Here We Go Magic, and he's got some solo records. This is like dancey art pop with some world beat influences. 77, I have Coin Collection 2 by Spencer Cullum Jr. He's an in-demand steel player. This is his second solo record of pastoral English folk. It's got guest appearances from Aaron Ray, Caitlin Rose, and others. Number 76, Wicked Jaw by Locate S1. That is the somewhat odd stage name of Christina Schneider. And this album just kind of bounces between a number of different indie styles. Sometimes it's synthy, sometimes it's folky, but the songs are really good. Number 75, I've got Emotional Contracts by Deer Tick. Who would have thought that Deer Tick would age so gracefully? They kind of have become the elder statesman carrying the torch for old-fashioned American rock and roll. Number 74, I've got Eat the Worm by Jonathan Wilson, producer extraordinaire. Works with a ton of acts that I like a lot. On his solo stuff, he really indulges himself. This is a very lyrically dense and interesting record, complex jazzy arrangements. Kind of a difficult listen, but it's really cool when you get into it, and it sounds great. 73, Boy Genius with the record. Three of the best indie songwriters of the last decade all coming together. They complement each other well. They turn in some strong tunes here. Maybe not the best thing that any of them have ever done, but a very enjoyable listen, I think. 72, this is my last 3.5. I've got Buy This Now by Uni Boys. Really great power pop produced by the Lemon Twigs.
A lot of stuff that I have not heard, nor will I ever hear. No Depeche Mode, that hurts. The best of Depeche Mode's career can't even break a top 100 in the 2020s.
Yeah, that's how much I care about Depeche Mode.
People are going to be even more upset now.
But we got this next one in common at 4 stars. My lowest 4 stars, Autumn by Smashing Pumpkins, triple album. Way too long, but it's really good. Number 70, Melodies on Hiatus by Albert Hammond Jr. It's a it's over an hour long double album from the Strokes guitarist, full of a lot of really cool little indie pop gems. Number 69, I've got Credo by Zeus. Really solid effort by the Canadian band, and here they are embracing more modern production, bigger, more anthemic hooks than their usual classic rock allegiance. Number 68, I've got Love for the Underdog by John Andrews and the Yawns. He's a musician and an animator, moved to New York, recorded this record live to tape with his band, who is essentially the Cutworms touring band, including Max Clark. Number 67, I've got There's More to It Than Climbing by Decent Criminal. 90s alt-rock throwback from Santa Rosa, California. The track Driving, I think, just totally slams, just killer rock song. Number 66, Radiant Music by Symphony Orchestra. This is a friend of the channel, Michael Ralt, pairing up with Max Turnbull for a side project, which isn't all that far removed from Michael Ralt's solo work. Number 65, I've got The Window by Rat Boys. Indie rock band out of Chicago, classic indie pop writing, kind of beefed up with big loud guitars. Title track of that record is great. Number 64, I have In the Air by Anna St. Louis. Really nice, kind of understated contemporary folk record, produced by Jarvis Tavernier, I think I'm saying that correctly, of Purple Mountains and Woods, and also has a bunch of, kind of who's who of players with Jess Williamson, Casey Johansson, Oliver Hill, Kevin LaRoe, Josh Adams, and Adam Fischel, all appearing on the record. Number 63, Sacramented by Molly Pardon. It's her third solo record. And she has also, played with a bunch of other people as a side person, bass player, Faye Webster and Darling Side among them. Number 62, Supernatural Thing by M. Ward. He's got guests on almost all of the tracks, including First Aid Kit and Jim James. I think it's one of his best albums of the last decade. Number 61, I have A Little Longer by Elise Levy, just a really gorgeous singer-songwriter record. The writing, the playing, the singing, all really good. Number 60, I have I Love a Love Song by Rachel and Vilray. Rachel is Rachel Price from Lake Street Dive, and Vilray is someone who she knows from music school, who writes original songs that sound basically like American standards from the 30s and 40s, and I think it is a lovely record. Number 59 is A River Running to Your Heart by Fruit Bats. It's the 10th Fruit Bats record, and I think they're just one of the most reliable bands around, usually good for 4 stars. This is the first of theirs that is self-produced. Number 58, The Price of Progress by The Hold Steady. After a slight mid-career slump, I think The Hold Steady have rebounded nicely. This is their third straight hitting 4 stars for me. And Craig Finn, still just a hell of a lyricist. Number 57, I have Traffic Fiction by Trey Burt, singer-songwriter signed to the late John Prine's Oh Boy Records. He marries folk, country, and soul into his own brand of roots rock. Number 56, Crisps by Get Down Services. Kind of Streets-esque vocals over dancey disco post-punk with really irreverent lyrics. A lot of fun. Number 55, Say What You Like by Doug Paisley. Americana, folk rock with a strong J.J. Cale, Mark Knopfler influence. Number 54, I.O. by Peter Gabriel. Legendary art rocker returns with an album far better than it logically has any right to be. Number 53, Crazy Mad for Me by CMAT, Irish singer-songwriter who previously was doing kind of an alt country thing. Here really expands and diversifies the sound on this sophomore album. Number 52 is Heaven is a Junkyard by Youth Lagoon. He retired the Youth Lagoon name in 2016. And then in 2021, he lost his voice due to complications, like a weird freak reaction he had to some medication. And somehow that drew him back to the Youth Lagoon name. And I think this is perhaps his best work to date. Number 51, This Is Why by Paramore. Never expected this to be this high, but here we are. They've evolved from a group that I was totally uninterested in to something that I appreciated to now something that I legitimately enjoy. Number 50, I've got Lucky for You by Bully, a record which I kind of underestimated at first because I missed the intensity of their debut and their earlier records. But on revisiting and giving it a little bit more of a chance, I've come to realize that songwriting is really good and it's pretty accessible, definitely their most accessible to date. I can see why it's suddenly getting quite a bit of radio play, at least here on the public radio station. Number 49, I have Heater by Phony. Just a brisk 20 minutes, just like the best 90s alternative rock that never got played on the radio is basically what this sounds like. The opening track, Caroline, one of my favorite songs of the year. 48, I have Paul McCarthy by Mike Viola. Great collection of tunes from one of our great songsmiths. He's the guy that sang That Thing You Do. And he also helped write the music for Walk Hard. But he also makes amazing pop rock albums of his own. Number 47, I have Red Swans in Palmetto by R.F. Shannon, the project of Shane Renfro. This is the fourth record from the Texas band, and it continues down the path of their excellent album from 2019. Number 46, I have Spectral Lines by Josh Ritter. He has been a little hit or miss for me since his peak years, but I think this is his best in ages. A lot more moody and textural than he normally is. I think it's a really great sounding record. Number 45, I have Lucky by Sumbuck. This is a side project of the band Camp, who I don't think I like at all. What I know of Camp is not my cup of tea. However, the song How Long kind of blew me away with its Justin Vernon-esque falsetto, jazzy 70s vibes. Number 44, I have Doomsinger by Chris Farren. Kind of a power pop, pop punk, indie pop, emo thing, whatever it is, really catchy. Cosmic Leash is one of the best rock songs of the year. 43, I've got Carpe by Cautious Clay, a really unique blending of R&B and soul and jazz. Plus, you get a few great guest appearances from Julian Lage. Number 42, I have Among Other Things by Bella White. Still just 22, and this is already her second album. Just great country. If you're averse to twang, this is one to avoid. She puts some spin on it, like she really drawling out the delivery of those vowels, but what a great voice. Number 41, I have The Art of Forgetting by Caroline Rose. I think one of the most personal records of the year, really laying it all out there, super creative and interesting. Number 40, I have Struggler by Genesis Owusu. Really cool genre blurring album. Reminds me a little of the last couple TV on the Radio records, but I think he really shines on the more soulful cuts here, like See You There. Number 39, I have Fantasy by M83. I know Joe really likes junk, and I hate junk. And for me, this is just like a huge return to form. This is everything that I missed on junk and the soundtracks and all the other stuff he's been doing since then. I think this is what has been missing since Hurry Up, We're Dreaming. I think it's a really strong return to form. You and Cram reviewed that one without me, so I don't think I ever really got to say how much I like that record on the channel.
Yeah, that's very surprising. Extremely, that's the surprise of the show so far of the year for me.
Number 38, One in Common, Thy Socialite by Slug. Really fun rock album, just kind of overflowing with ideas. He's the touring bassist for the band Field Music, Ian Black, that is. 37, Nostalgia, Another in Common from Enforcer. The only real metal album on my list. It's tons of fun. It's over the top. It's kind of silly, but the guitar work is legitimately outstanding. 36, Turn the Car Around by Gaz Coombs. It's 3 in a row that we got in common. Possibly his best solo album yet. It's either this or Matador, I think. It just feels a little more natural and relaxed. I think some of his past work, he was trying really hard to be Radiohead, and here it feels like he's being himself a bit more. 35, I have Whiplash by Joby Riccio. Winner of the 2023 John Prine Songwriting Fellowship. Just great Americana folk country record. 34, another one of those, Every Acre by H.C. McIntyre, the third solo album for the Mount Moriah singer. You got features on this record from S.G. Goodman, Amy Ray of the Indigo Girls, as well as possibly the best guitar solo of the year on the song Turpentine. 33, Cousin by Wilco. This one dropped a bit. I had it a bit higher. I had it 4.5 stars until I started placing things, and I realized it had to go down a little. I still think it's really strong. I still think it's a late career highlight. Really good stuff from one of my favorite bands. 32, Golden State by Logan Ledger. This dude just has a crazy voice. It's like Elvis meets Roy Orbison. The songs are great. Plus, you get another Aaron Ray appearance. 31, Ceremony by Tiny Ruins. Fourth album by the New Zealand band, recorded back in 2021. And the record's kind of dealing with a 2018 miscarriage and the pandemic, and really personal, reflective album. Number 30 is Books on Tape by Sam Hoffman. It's his second record following his 2018 debut album, just kind of Beatle-esque psych pop, right up my alley. 29, So Long Noodle House by Hot Apple Band from Sydney, Australia. They were previously known as Noodle House, hence the album title, So Long Noodle House, when they changed their name. Folk rock, alt country, through the lens of 70s pop. All right, 3 left. Number 28, Bird Machine by Sparkle Horse, posthumous album, The Last Songs from the late great Mark Linkous, and there are some amazing songs on here. Just what a loss. 27, Sometimes You Hurt the Ones You Hate by Damien Jurado. The first of 3 albums this year, the only one to make my top 100. I think this one is the most fully realized of the 3. Saw him live this year, was fantastic. 26, another one that I think will surprise Joe because he talked about it a couple times on the channel maybe, and I had not heard it yet. So I did not chime in or say anything about it. I listened to it recently, and it is Blow Me by Suzanne Sundfør, if I'm saying that remotely correctly. Who knows? Norwegian singer. For me, a record of tremendous highs. There are some phenomenal songs on here that really knocked me out. The whole thing's not perfectly consistent enough to put it like top 25, but it's really good. Her voice is amazing, and I think there's some interesting thematic things happening with the record too, and some of like the spoken bits, and just pretty interesting. So yeah.
All right, I think most of the things that I've heard of were on my top 100 list, and then you had about 80% that I've never heard of, or just where, how do you even find these bands?
I don't know where you found some of the ones you listen to either. So
I mean, you're going off on like, touring bass players, side project kind of stuff, and I'm just like, what? Noodle House? So Long Noodle House? That's not real. That's not real.
Yeah, that's a good record. Yeah, there's so much. You can't cover it all. So that's why we thought we'd do 100. Just start throwing album titles at you, the viewers.
Yeah, 4 of those albums by Jason don't exist, and you have to figure out which ones those are.
That'd be fun. Maybe next year we'll do that. All right. Well, let us know what you think might be in our remaining top 25s. Maybe make some predictions. You know what's left, so see if you can get them exactly right. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Keep an eye on the channel because our top 25s are coming, as well as our favorite songs and maybe some awards for the year. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.